Hello everybody, this is Javamonk, and welcome to episode 11 of the mod making series. So last episode, we made a whole bunch of glass things. Like, back there you can see glass armor, glass tools, a lot of glass things. Glass armor, like what I'm wearing right now. So, lately I've been kind of feeling burnt out and kind of depressed. So, today, we're going to make something that's going to make me happy. See these note blocks right here? Here's how they work right now. You power it with redstone, and they just go. See? Just plunk. We're going to add more instruments to the note blocks. Maybe we'll add more pitches to the note blocks. But more importantly, we're actually going to make super note blocks. The way I want these super note blocks to work is when they get powered, they're going to continue making that noise over and over, continuously, as long as the redstone is being supplied. So, right now, the only thing in Minecraft that actually works that way is, little known fact, it's actually the music played in the end dimension. Okay, looks like I was wrong. Turns out, the ambient soundtrack for the end does not loop continuously. I thought it did. Well, looks like we're going to end up having to reinvent the wheel after all. Behold, the super note block. So, here's a note block, and here's a super note block. Yes, it's dyed red, because eventually I plan to add stuff like blue stone, green stone, that sort of stuff. So this is like the super redstone note block. So, note block, super note block. No sound. Fantastic. Alright, time to reinvent the wheel, much like we did with slabs. So, here's the master plan. Step 1, continuous sound. Figure out how to make a block where, as long as it's powered with redstone, it's just going to continuously make sound. Then we're going to see how it can change instruments. Here's a list of instruments up here. This will be updated. And then step 3, figure out how to change the pitch and save that pitch. I like this solution with using tile entities, but let's see if we can figure out possibly a better way to do it. And then, of course, take over the world. Okay. There we go. And it doesn't continuously make sound. Well, this is interesting. So, we're getting note particles just appearing randomly. Quite interesting. So it doesn't play sound continuously unless I activate this thing, which is this is basically a block update causer thing. And I mean, it's a start, I guess. Ish. Huh. Okay. So it plays sound, but very randomly. I guess I made a random music box. So presumably hoppers cause lag because they're constantly checking above their position about whether or not there's an item there to suck up. Now it appears, looking through the code, that actual checking happens in the tile entity of the hopper, as in the thing that actually controls the inventory and stuff like that. And it appears to happen right here. This update command. So, I might just be forced to actually use a tile entity to keep track of to just keep track of all the notes. And also make it so the note block actually plays notes perpetually. Yeah, things like leaves decaying, it looks like it's updated perpetually, but in reality, it's only updated every random tick. Which means, and we saw how that sounds with the super note block. It just sporadically makes noise. So if I want perpetual noise, looks like I will need to create a tile entity. Well, I was planning to do that anyway to handle the notes, so I'm sure it's fine. And 3, 2, 1. Yes! Boom! We did it! We now have the world's most annoying block. Phase 1 complete. It's now time for Phase 2. Well, that's not good. Yeah, looks like something broke. Let's test the instruments anyway. Let's see. Okay, good. Yes! Now here's the ultimate test. Does it save when I log out and log back in? And... no it doesn't. Dang it. Okay. Well, at least you can update. You can change the pitch. So I haven't figured out how to fix the memory issue, but I did add some instruments to the super note block, and also tuned it. So, yeah, you see these little particles here? They change color when you tune up the note block. I've also tuned the super note block to be at basically the exact same pitch as the regular note block whenever the notes are the same color. So, in case you're wondering how this is done, the default note is note number 0, if you are to number it like how Minecraft does. So that's note number 0, and then let's actually turn up the sound. There we go. That's note 0. So if you want to convert that into pitch, like how you'd find within the play sound command, what you do is you take the number note, you then divide by 12, and take that and put that in the power of 2. So for example, if I were to click this 12 times, that is the actual note of the original file. So that's the original. And then if I were to tune this thing up all the way, if I can get it to that last note there. There, close enough. This is actually at pitch 2, the highest possible pitch. The lowest pitch is 0.5. So now, before I actually flip this lever, I'm going to warn you, I'm about to assault your ears, because I've always had this weird fascination with bagpipes. They're the dorkiest looking instruments, but they make this just hauntingly beautiful sound. And I've always wanted to play the bagpipes. I've never actually gotten around to learning how to play. So Minecraft will have to suffice. Here we go. Behold the bagpipe drone. Let's turn that down. There we go. That is the bagpipe drone. And now, if you put an iron block underneath, you get the bagpipe note. Now, the actual recording where I got the bagpipe note is not perfect because it still has the drone in the background. You can kind of hear it there. But the reason why I picked that one is because all the other recordings I could find of just the note sounded weird. Let me show you. This is what it sounds like when you just have the note and no drone behind it. It doesn't even sound like a bagpipe. I mean, what even is that? So, yeah, bagpipes are weird when you don't have the drone behind them. So, I guess That sounds like a bagpipe now. Sort of. I'm curious, what did it sound like with just a high-pitched... Hold up. Wait a minute. That sounds like a bagpipe. Both of these are... Is the bagpipe note just a drone at a different pitch? Holy crap. I'm having an existential crisis right now. Am I going crazy, or is this just Minecraft messing with me? That sounds like a... Okay, that's weird. And now it's a bagpipe. Am I going crazy? Is this... Are bagpipes just... Are bagpipes really just a drone at different pitches at the same time? Holy crap. You'd think being so fascinated with bagpipes I would know this kind of thing, but... why has nobody told me before? Why am I separating the note from the drone? They're the same instrument. They're just at different pitches. I am shocked. I am absolutely shocked. So, other notes, or other instruments, include bagpipe drone, bagpipe note, accordion. It doesn't sound like an accordion. I don't know how to fix that. We have the flute. So this is basically... This is actually just the normal Minecraft flute, just made to loop. Then we have the synthesizer. Or like the electric piano, I guess. This could be an interesting way to set some tense ambiance. Just have the synthesizer playing. Now we also have the theremin. Again, don't know what's up with the popping. But I kind of like this. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. I started really liking the theremin for some reason. Like, theremin's kind of growing on me. I don't know. Here's the trumpet. Or at least my attempt at the trumpet. I'm not actually playing the trumpet in this one. It doesn't really sound like a trumpet. Here's the violin. It actually kind of sounds like a violin. This kind of sounds like a violin warm up a little bit. And then here's vocals. Kind of like a choir. The audience is now listening. So, it's been a few months since I've recorded anything new about these note blocks, partly because the main issue I was running into is that the notes would not save. Basically, I could put down a note block, I could tune it up, and then, but when I logged out and logged back in, the note would not save. So, I went through, I spent several months painstakingly trying to figure out how to fix this stupid issue. And you know what the craziest thing is? The Mojangsters ran into this exact issue where the note would not actually save. The reason I know that is because this line of code talks about changing the pitch, and then when I go into the tile entity about changing the pitch, they introduced this thing called forge hooks, which literally this, like, They created an entire game event just to change the note of a note block. Now, this is horribly inefficient, and also, I'm not a Mojangster. I don't have the ability to go into this class and change and add a new game event without doing some really weird stuff. So I decided to instead reinvent the wheel a little bit. The way we're going to do it is the only thing the tile entity is going to do is play the note and also just update itself. But the actual note itself, the actual pitch, is going to be saved as a block property. So in other words, it's now a thing that's going to show up on the F3 screen, like this. See that note 10? Right-click, and it'll update. I don't know why it's jumping from 10 to 12, or jumping by 2 each time, but I have no clue what's causing that. I'll see if I can fix that. Either way, that does bring about an unfortunate consequence. The issue is no longer a technical issue, it's instead a music theory issue. In other words, it's something that I don't know how to work with or what to do. So here's the thing. Normal note blocks have 24 notes spanning over 2 octaves. Octaves are like, I guess, 8 notes apart, hence oct, I assume. So you get these weird kind of pitches where like this is basically if note blocks were a piano, it would look like this. So yeah, the issue is the super note block piano and the future note blocks that I plan to add in the future, they don't look like this anymore. So we got to figure out something to do here. I could still make the 16 notes span 2 octaves, but it's no longer going to correspond directly to a piano. Mind you, these don't either, just because like some of these are clearly 2 different pitches, depending on how these are designed. I guess I don't know what this means. Yeah, quite unfortunate. Yeah, something something semitones octaves something something. I have no clue what this means. In case it isn't clear, I'm not a musician. This, however, I can understand. At pitch 0, it needs to be at pitch 0.5 according to the game code, and then at the highest, it needs to be at pitch 2.0 in order for things to span 2 octaves properly. So we'll just be stretching out the span a little bit. Alright, I think the note issue has been fixed, so now it climbs up 1 at a time, as you'd expect. By the way, you may notice that when I right-click this note block, it actually sets off a block update detector. This is a block update detector, basically observers before observers were a thing. And that's something that note blocks actually don't do. Like, you change the pitch of a note block, it doesn't care. There's no block update sent, which is quite interesting. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, so clearly there's different pitches, except when I turn up this note to like 4, it updates all of the others universally across the entire world. And yet, what is going on here? So I put together a couple different examples of how these super note blocks would actually possibly be superior to normal note blocks. So I took 2 examples, 2 kind of my favorite music pieces from the Nutcracker Ballet. So just for reference, here's what the piece sounds like when somebody more talented actually makes a note block piece using this. That's the piece that I turned into super note blocks. Now notice how in the elongated flute pieces where it goes like and it just stops there. Well, that's awkward, and that's not how the piece usually goes. It's a little clunky due to my inability to actually make music, but I mean, take a listen. And it's a little clunky, a little rough around the edges, but you get the idea, right? Like, the elongated flute parts can now actually be elongated. I don't know. I think it sounds a little bit better. Now, that might not be the best display of the super note blocks. Here's another example from the Nutcracker, the Chinese Dance. So, this one sounds like this. Ignore that intro part. You see there, since this is sheet music for the piano, they actually had to change the music ever so slightly. This part where you go, like, it's supposed to actually hold out that note, that high note. And you can't do that on a piano, you can't do that with note blocks. I couldn't actually find any examples of note block music being used for a Chinese dance. So here's my rendition of Chinese dance on super note blocks. Again, it's going to be a little clunky. This is actually one of my favorite pieces. So I'm a little sad about how it turned out, but I mean, maybe I hope it gets the point across at least. So there you go. That's Chinese dance on super note blocks. So there you go. I think that's actually going to do it for me this episode. We made super note blocks, which are note blocks where, as long as they're being powered, they will continuously make sound. So normal note blocks, you have to power them with a redstone signal like this. And you have to keep flicking it back and forth if you want to keep making sound. Or you'd have to rig up some kind of comparator clock to do it for you. But that gets annoying after a while. So instead, we now have a more efficient way to be annoying with note block sound. Behold, the super note block. So here's the theremin. So there you go, improved note blocks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please let me know. Next episode, I think we're going to focus some more on note blocks and maybe bring in some more pitch possibilities. Because that's the other restriction on note blocks that's kind of annoying, is pitch. I mean, just look at Note Block Studio. It has the full piano range, but like these white spots and these black squares, that's it for the note blocks. Why can't we have piano pieces that extend out to here or back here? I mean, might as well just use up the whole piano, right? Maybe then we could make such pieces as Death Waltz or Rush E or something like that literally use up the entire piano. That would be awesome. That's coming next episode, though. So until then, I will see you next time.